Yo, what's good? What's good, man? What's good? What up? What up? What up, man? We here for another episode of Think Pieces and Conversations. It felt like it's been a while. It felt like it's been a long time. It felt like that I'm not on my job when I'm actually on my job. There's been so many things happening at one time during this whole 8 9 days that since my last episode of Think Pieces. Everything is happening all at once. Everything happening all at once. That might be the title of this episode. First, we got the first major thing is the Venezuela, the securing of Venezuela, the invasion of Venezuela, the total dominance, the dominance of taking over a country, taking their leader in under 2 hours, 3 hours. Um, Very impressive by the United States. But why is that? Why did the United States do this? Now, if you ask me, the reason why Venezuela was taken is because we can do that. If I'm going to take it down to the most simplest answer, we took it because we can. If you want to get technical, there is a lot of big moving pieces happening on Earth. There is a lot of big moving pieces. I ask people, and I'm going to ask you who's watching this right now, who's listening to this right now on your audio podcast app, who is on YouTube, who is on Spotify, who is on Apple Podcasts, wherever you're at, you're listening to this. I want you to think this, right? I need you to realize this 100%. There are only two superpowers that are going to be the dominant force in the next 30 years. There's only two. And you have to pick one. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. You know what's going to be the superpowers? The United States or China. That's the only two that's going to be. One of these guys are going to win. Whether you believe it or not, right? Now, during these times, in these very stressed times, you got Venezuela, you got the thing that happened, the tragedy that happened with ICE and the lady that wasn't supposed to be there obstructing federal operations missions. She wanted to protest but not protest peacefully, and then she led herself to a very bad situation that she should have not been in if all she had to do was stay home. But we're gonna get to that soon. In this world right now, you are witnessing the stages of the most important part of the next 100 years. These steps that's happening right now, Venezuela getting taken, the Monroe Doctrine being implemented, it being modernized to become the Monroe Doctrine that President Trump has taken into his own hands. You are realizing, and you will realize if you have not yet, that emotions are the last thing that's on the mind and priority of China or the US or any of the other competitive nations such as Russia. These guys are preparing for something. They're playing chess. I need to take this piece to prevent that piece from taking this piece, or me from being into a checkmate or a check situation. The US right now, with how volatile it is within the actual land of the United States, it's very volatile. There is a divide. There is a divide between left and right. There is a divide between common sense and uncommon sense. There is a divide between logical and illogical. And the illogical is going to be way more louder than the logical. This is just a fact. This is just the reality of life right now in the United States. There is a brainwashing that has completely succeeded on one side. There is a lot of moving pieces happening all at once. Everything happening all at once. Okay. Now, I want you to listen to this video I found on X. Alex Jones posted it, and it was from a movie scene about Venezuela. I need y'all to listen to this because this opened my eyes a little bit. Because, you know, when it comes to movies, Hollywood, they're going to tell you the truth, or they're going to give you certain things that's going to make you think like, hold on, is this true? Is this really going to be a real thing? Is this really a real thing? Is this... Famously, The Matrix is one of those things. But I want to watch this real quick.
Who says Russia? Anybody agree with her? Hands? Okay. Right. What would you assume is the most major threat on the world stage? Anybody, just call it out. You don't have to raise your hand.
Definitely Russia.
Definitely Russia. That's confident. I like it. Who says Russia? Anybody agree with her? Hands? Okay. Right. Who else?
China.
Stop yelling at me, but China is a good answer. Anybody? Who else? China?
North Korea?
North Korea. Any North Korea takers? And Venezuela? Anybody? No? Oh, yeah. One guy in the back. A little worried about Venezuela. Everybody's cool with Venezuela? No threat? Okay. Let me ask you this. Which one of these places can claim to have the largest oil deposit on the planet? More than Saudi? More than Iran? Wow. Okay, what about things like gold? More than all the mines in Africa combined?
I'm going to finish this. I'm going to finish the clip. But I need you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, okay, there are things happening that's way beyond your scope. There are things happening way beyond your pay grade. There are things way beyond your protests about, I don't know, whatever you're protesting about, whatever idiocracy that you're protesting about, that means nothing in the grand scheme of this giant chess game that we are a part of, whether you like it or not. Okay, you have powers, you have military forces such as the United States, that if you're lucky enough to live on this land, it is going back to its expansionist ideals. We're taking Venezuela because we can, and it's a part of our hemisphere. We're taking Venezuela because it has the greatest resource of oil. It has the most gold than Africa, South Africa. Everybody talks about Africa. Everybody talks about, yo, how much gold Africa got, how much resources Africa got. Oh my God, why is Africa not just as powerful and as big as the United States? Because they don't know how to allocate their resources properly. They don't know the actual value of their land. It took them too long. It took you too long to realize the value of your land. It took you too long to realize you letting people in, you not really cultivating your resources, you not selling your resources the way you should be selling your resources, you not stamping everything that comes out of that ground is the reason why Africa is not in the same superpower as the United States, China, Russia, but it is a grounds for the most resource and raw material on the planet. But next to Africa, you have Venezuela, which before I saw this video, I'm going to be honest with you. Before I saw this video, I did not know that Venezuela had more oil than Africa. I did not know that Venezuela had more oil than everybody. I did not know Venezuela had more gold than everybody. But the people that's behind the doors in the Situation Room in the US, the people that have some of the most advanced technology in surveillance, in recording, in satellite, they notice. They understand the geopolitics of the world. So you have a president that isn't afraid to go back to the United States expansionist ideals. Oh, let me finish this clip though. Let me see if there's anything else that is being said within this clip.
The fact is that Venezuela is arguably the single greatest resource of oil and minerals on the planet. So, why is this country in the midst of one of the greatest humanitarian crises in modern history? Let's meet President Nicolas Reyes. After rising to power on a wave of nationalist pride, in a mere 6 years, this guy has crippled the national economy by half. He has raised the poverty rate by almost 400%. Luckily for the rest of us, he's up for re-election. So, who's running against him? This is Gloria Bonalde. Now, Gloria is a history professor turned activist. She's running against him on a social justice platform and on the strength of, in my humble opinion, just not being an asshole. Analyst predictions, as of today, have the chances of Venezuela's total economic collapse at 87%. On the news, they'll call it a crisis. But on the world stage, they'll call it a failed state. If you've never heard that term, other examples of a failed state in recent history are Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. And if that's not bad enough news for you, well, Venezuela is also the only one of these places within 30-minute range from the U.S. of next-gen nuclear missiles.
Listen. We're gonna go to the Monroe Doctrine next, because you need to explain. I need y'all to explain everything. Everything needs to explain. But we're gonna go to Marco Rubio before we go to the Monroe Doctrine. All right.
Not going to be able to allow in our hemisphere a country that becomes a crossroad for the activities of all of our adversaries around the world. We just can't allow it. We can't have a country where the people in charge of its military and in charge of its police department are openly cooperating with drug trafficking organizations. We're not going to allow that. These things are direct threats to the United States, and we intend to use every element of leverage that we have to ensure that that changes.
Okay. So you heard what Marco Rubio said, right? And I explained this to a couple people. I said, yo, the United States, we thrive off of ins and outs in politics, because we play politics a lot. Presidents are only in office for 4 years at a time, so politics will be played, right? Narratives will be used. Certain angles will be shown, certain things won't be shown, because it plays to the optics, it plays to the politics of the situation. Politics and optics are very important, and they're one and the same within politics. Optics wise, Venezuela has been primed to be shown as, well, at least for Nicolas Maduro. And from that clip you saw from that movie, all you gotta do is change the names. It's that guy that's played as that dictator is Nicolas Maduro, and that lady is played as somebody else. Everything they said about the poverty rate was accurate. But let's get back to the Monroe Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine. You have the United States They have primed the country, and Maduro has primed himself to be shown as a drug dealer, a trafficker, a dictator. He has stolen an election. This is fact. He is not recognized by a lot of countries as the president of Venezuela. This is a fact. The U.S. wanted an end on Venezuela, and Maduro handed the U.S. an end. And the end was, oh, you sell us drugs. We have 300,000 people that die every single day in America. Not every single day. I'm sorry. Repeat that. Sorry about that. Let me take that back. 300,000 a year that die in America. You're giving the U.S. an end to get in your country. Okay? You stole an election, and you ship drugs to our country that has fentanyl in it. Whether it's true or not, in the majority, in the grand scheme of things, right? There is footage showing boats getting shot. You have been linked in the public to being a drug trafficker. You have been linked in the public now to be a terrorist, terrorizing the United States, a foreign terrorist. You have given the U.S. grounds to get in and find you and get you. This is a fact. You gave the U.S. an in. We finally go in. We get you. We get you in 2 hours, maybe even less. We got you. We grabbed you up. You're now on our land, on our turf. Right? Little does Maduro know, there is a complete divide in politics on this land. There is a complete divide on politics with the judges. There are judges on certain sides. There are judges that want to play activists. They don't want to play by the law. They want to be activists. They want to go against Trump because they too have also been brainwashed. So Maduro has that going for him in New York, right? When Trump went there and grabbed the oil from Venezuela, this was a plan for the long term. This wasn't a plan for the next 4 years. This was a plan for the safety and security of the United States for the long term. So, in my opinion, right, my brain goes to third term. My brain goes to, he is preparing for the long-term dominance of the United States, because there is actually a real chance that he might get a third term through tactics unknown as of yet. Because if I'm only playing to be in the office for 4 years, yes, he might be a patriot, right? Cool, you might be a patriot. You might be just having the U.S.'s best interest because you're from the U.S. But nah. You want to stamp your name in history. You want to stamp your name in history amongst the Lincolns, amongst the George Washingtons, amongst the greatest of presidents that have been presidents in the United States. You want to stamp your name amongst JFK minus the assassination. You want to leave a mark. You want the U.S. to be completely dominant in all the ways. Let's go to the Monroe Doctrine. Okay? Let's go to the Monroe Doctrine. Hold on one second. Show me the map of the Western Hemisphere. Let me tell y'all something about the Monroe Doctrine. And this is why the Monroe Doctrine is so important. The Monroe Doctrine was articulated by President James Monroe in his 1823 annual message to Congress. It emerged in a post-Napoleonic war. Whoa, what type of Whoa. Napoleonic War environment where European powers were considering reasserting colonial control in the Western Hemisphere. Core principles: non-colonization. European powers should not establish new colonies in the Americas. Non-intervention. European powers should not interfere in the affairs of independent nations in the Western Hemisphere. U.S. non-involvement in Europe. The United States will not interfere in the European wars or internal affairs. Separate spheres of influence. The Americas and Europe were not to be treated as distinct geopolitical spheres. Okay, so the core principles of the Monroe Doctrine, the things have already been, we already have U.S. involvement in Europe. We already have spheres of influence. It's already done, right? There's already null and void of the Monroe Doctrine. So the foundation of it is to just take the Western Hemisphere. A modernized Monroe Doctrine will not reassemble 19th century anti-colonialism. Instead, it will likely focus on strategic exclusion of rival great powers, i.e. Russia, i.e. China, from dominating the Western Hemisphere. Okay? So this is what ChatGPT showed me. All right? So from what Trump is doing, he wants to take the entire Western Hemisphere. He wants to take it. Because in the Monroe Doctrine, if you take the Western Hemisphere, you're supposed to take the Western Hemisphere as the United States because you are the superpower in that hemisphere. You are the superpower. Let me show you this map. Can I see this map? Can I zoom in? Let me zoom in. Hold on. Okay, so you got North America, you got Greenland, you got South America. You have rival countries trying to make deals with South America, trying to make deals with Venezuela, trying to make deals with, you got Russian submarines going to Greenland. North America is the superpower. I need y'all to understand this. North America, we are the superpower. You have people within the country that don't understand what's really happening on the geopolitical stage. At this moment, before the AI race comes to a conclusion, you need to have your entire backyard covered. The United States must take the entire Western Hemisphere. It must. No. I don't think you understand. It must take the entire Western Hemisphere. Now, how will it do that? It could do it in many different ways. Venezuela gave us the green light to invade with weapons, radar jammers, stuff like that. People died over there. They gave us leeway to do that operation in that manner. Greenland is going to be a little bit different. Greenland is going to be in a negotiation. Greenland is going to be a buyout. Okay? Then you got the cartels in South America. Mexico is completely overran with cartel. The cartels run South America. The cartels run Mexico. The cartels run it. Okay? The United States has the same play for Venezuela as they did for South America. They have labeled the ruling power of the country that they're about to invade as terrorists. The ruling power of South America is the cartel. It's not Michelle Scheinbaum or whatever her first name is. It's not. It's not Michelle Scheinbaum. Whatever her name is, Miss Scheinbaum. It's not her. Cartel members ain't looking at her in fear. They're looking at Trump as in, we got to be careful with this guy. He just invaded Venezuela. He just took their oil, and guess what? Nobody's gonna do anything about it. South America, what the cartel has to understand is the technology that America has is beyond their comprehension. They know, we know where everybody's at. Trump knows where everybody's at. Trump knows where all the farms are. Whether the president of Mexico, whether she cooperates or not, there's nobody that's gonna stop us. There's nobody that's gonna stop us. Now you got the people that love, that are very peaceful. You got people that don't really understand what's going on. They say, yo, we shouldn't intervene, we shouldn't do this. Within these next 15, 20, 30 years, the dominant country is going to be number one, and that's US or China. If you live in the US, I'm telling you right now, this is my warning to everybody. You need to pick a side. What side are you going to pick? What side are you going to pick? Are you going to pick the side that your feet is planted at? Or are you going to pick a side where the way that you talk about a president, the way that you discuss politics, you can be jailed, imprisoned, your social credit score goes down, you can't eat certain meat because your social credit score is down. All that liberal bullshit y'all do with the protests, y'all could never do that under President Xi. I'm here to tell y'all. Y'all could never do that under President Xi. You can't even speak badly on his name. They wish you will go to China and speak badly on his name. It don't matter if you got a US passport. Walk into China and do that. See what happens. Do you want to be ruled by us or them? You gotta pick. Now let's go on to the next topic. Let's throw the fires in the background for this. Oh, before I go there, maybe this could provide you with clarity on the Monroe Doctrine, the modernized version of the Monroe Doctrine. This guy might provide you with some clarity, if I didn't.
I also realized reading the national security strategy document that the Trump administration released that we are, off the record, I think we are in end games, man. This is literally a global scramble to prepare for like a global final showdown between the U.S. and China.
Yes, a scramble for what? For what? Copper or rare earths or what?
Securing strategic energy, natural resources, and supply chain. China has done a great job over the last 20 years, especially over the last 10 years, grabbing resources and investing, and through the Belt and Road Initiative, supply chain of all these natural resources, not just rare earth, And the U.S. is suddenly realizing, holy shit, like now we want to actually take back some of this supply chain. We don't even have the very basic raw materials that we need, and we can't do that at home. So you got to find it elsewhere, and that's why they have this whole like Trump's corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. Have you heard about it?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you need to look it up after this interview. You should look up the document. It's a 30-page document called the National Security Strategy. I kid you not, the thing looks like, it does not read real. It reads like they are taking the gloves off. This is like real politics stuff. They say in verbatim, we are going to be enforcing Trump's corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine was, right? Tell the Europeans, like, we're going to keep Latam, like the Americas is our turf, keep out. And we're going to enforce, political, supremacy here. And if you have to topple some regimes through CIA, shenanigans, we do it. And that's exactly, I think, what we're looking at.
And so this new Trump doctrine is going to be trying to maintain control over Latin America in the same way, or is it, or no? What is it?
If you think about the world order after World War II, especially after Cold War, has been this model of general big tent liberal order, right? Of like open traffic. The U.S.
So basically, you got the gist of the idea, right? You got the gist of it. The Americas belongs to North America, including Greenland, the entire Western Hemisphere. This interview that I pulled up from X, it's a tweet by Jack Farley. It says Steve Ho predicting the Monroe Doctrine a month ago. He predicted this in December. And December is the place that he predicted this. All right, he predicted this a month ago, and he was spot on. I've been saying this for months since the presidency, since the new administration has taken place. I said, Trump, you're being too nice. You're being way too nice. This is what I said. I said, you're being too nice. You're being too nice to everybody. When are you gonna get aggressive? Okay. Yes, you've been more aggressive than previous presidents, but the amount of aggression that you have taken has not amounted to what the leftists are doing. The leftists have become very aggressive in the destabilization of America, in the brainwashing and radicalization of the people that's within their party. The people that have sacrificed their lives and put their bodies on the line. I quote from those people on the left, which from the Minneapolis situation, they have predicted and they have that blood is on their hands. They told their party supporters to put their bodies on the line, and I wish I could find it. I wish I could find it. I wish I could find it, bro. Oh yeah, I found it. I found it. Minnesota's leading Democrat candidate for U.S. activists. No, I'm sorry. Minnesota's leading Democrat candidate for U.S. Senate urged activists to put your body on the line to protest Trump.
Our neighbors are being disappeared. P.S. Without due process, it is just called kidnapping. Then show up and use your voice. Put your body on the line. Our neighbors.
Let's play that again.
Are being disappeared. P.S. Without due process, it is just called kidnapping. Then show up and use your voice. Put your body on the line. Our neighbors are being disappeared.
Listen, bro. There are people that I have conversation with about what's going on in the world in politics with Trump. They hear the name Trump, their brain just automatically goes into haywire mode. It's like there's nothing I've ever seen like this before Trump's presidency, where you mention Trump and like you see their bodies turn into agents, just like in the Matrix. You see them, their brains change, they can't think no more. This is literally Trump derangement syndrome. This is something that is completely psychological. This is something that you cannot help. Okay? And the Democrats are smart enough to know this. The brainwashing has become so embedded into so many people's minds that they can gaslight these people into putting their bodies on the line. As she said, to put your bodies on the line, and somebody was brainwashed to do it the other day. Today is January 9th. That thing has occurred January 7th or 8th in Minnesota, where the ICE agent has taken out a protester that wasn't protesting peacefully, a protester that was blocking traffic with her car. You're obstructing a federal operation. This is a crime. Nobody I know, whether left or right, would be dumb enough to put their bodies on the line in that manner. Is your life in your hands or is your life in somebody else's hands? That's the question I have for the people that think she did the right thing. Okay, let me find this this video. Let me find this video of the things that are happening, man. Let me find this video.
Ever.
Let's go to Andrew Cuomo. We're not gonna play too much of it.
Analyzing an event like
let's go to my guy right here.
He is first of
Let's
all,
go to
it's
my guy right
extremely
here.
sad and unfortunate that someone died. I mean, the political fight. I agree with you, Jonathan. I think there's some details. we
Scott
don't know yet,
Jennings.
and we'll have to learn more about it. What strikes me is, first of all, it's extremely sad and unfortunate that someone died. I mean, the political fighting and disagreements aside, it's terrible. You don't want people to die in law enforcement situations or otherwise. But it strikes me that we are undergoing an epidemic of political vigilantism right now. Why are people showing up?
Political vigilantism. That's probably the best definition that I've heard for a very long time to define what's actually going on here in this present day, in this political climate. Political vigilantism. This is what the left's message is. This is what the left's agenda is. I wish the left was doing something right. They haven't done nothing right. They're gaslighting. They're protecting somebody such as a Tim Walz, which this conveniently happened after he said he's not going for the governorship in 2026. He stepped down out of the race. This conveniently happened after he said that. And now he is all in on the narrative. He's all in, even though there is an angle showing that this woman actually hit the ICE officer. He's going all in. The Democrats are very smart, okay? They know that you're led by your emotions because you're a sheep, okay? They know that. All right? They know that you're led by your emotions because you're a sheep, so they're going to take advantage of your emotions. They prime you with George Floyd. They prime you with Black Lives Matter. And they primed you with that. They already seeped into your heart, your mind, your soul. They control you. You no longer have an opinion for yourself. As soon as they mention the name Trump, as soon as they say it's Trump's fault, you agree. They got you. They got you hook, line, and sinker. You can't do nothing about it. Okay, the only thing you can do is pray to a God that I hope you have. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all, forgotten God. A lot of y'all forgotten religion. A lot of y'all forgotten morality in your endeavors to appease a political party. Charlie Kirk lost his life. You guys celebrated. Ashley Babbitt lost her life in January 6th, climbing into a Capitol building. You guys, did you guys celebrate? I remember you guys celebrating that because you associated that lady with Donald Trump. And the game plan is all we gotta do is mention Donald Trump's name and they're gonna bite with every message we give. And they're in the back laughing at you. They're gonna bite. All we gotta do is say it's Trump's fault. We got millions of homeless in our streets. All we gotta do is blame Trump. And they're gonna bite. That's the game plan. They're so stupid. Ha 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 ha. They eating their caviar. They just bought a new Rolex from the Rolex store. They just bought a new AP. They just bought a new Sky Dweller. They just bought a new Rolls Royce. They just bought a new Benz. They in their cars just laughing at how stupid you are. You have been so radicalized by a narrative that you decide to put your body on the line. This is a tragedy that the lady got shot and died. This is a tragedy, right? But my question to the lady and whoever agrees with her is, why was she there in the first place? Nobody I know would be there in the first place. You could go to the gym. You could go to work. You could go to a spa. You could go grocery shopping. She woke up in the morning with her kid, with her partner. She woke up in the morning and said, "Yo, I'm gonna put my car in the road to block them off." Let's finish what Scott Jennings has to say.
In vehicles, in convoys, not just in Minneapolis, but all over the country, in an effort to obstruct lawful federal law enforcement activities. This is not an isolated incident. We have had hundreds of car rammings against ICE agents all over the country. According to DHS, this lady in this car today, along with other vehicles, had been tracking ICE agents around. Why are people believing that they can drive their car into a federal law enforcement situation and that is an appropriate thing to do? I understand they don't like the fact that these agents are enforcing existing immigration law, but that's not how we change laws in this country. If you don't like a law, you talk to the politicians. You don't drive your car into the middle of a building or a law enforcement situation that's being occupied by the people who are simply there to enforce the law. If I don't like how much the IRS is charging me in taxes, I don't drive my car into the Treasury Department and try to run somebody over. I call my congressman. Political vigilantism is being encouraged by Democratic officials like the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, Peggy Flanagan, who earlier this year told people to, quote, put your bodies on the line.
And I did just play that for y'all. I played that for y'all. This is the reality of what's happening. This is the tactic, the strategy. There are a lot of people that don't even understand what strategy is. There is a lot of people that can't see anything beyond what's in their face. They can't see it. They can't see nothing beyond what's in their face. All they see is what their emotions tell them. They don't have foresight. They don't have their own thoughts. Everything they've been told is their own. It's been told by somebody else. Everything they've been told is from somebody else. Everything they've been told is from somebody they believe in. Everything they've been told is something other than whatever Orange Man says. And that is a cancer to this society. This divide is what's going to ultimately cause something big to go down. I don't know what's going to go down, but the left wants the narrative to be on their side. That's what they want. They want martial law to happen. Because I thought martial law was getting ready to happen. If that ICE agent was actually in the wrong. Now, in law, the ICE agent isn't in the wrong. Obviously, the ICE agent could have done something different. But under the rules and police training, if an agent, federal, regular cop, DHS, if they are in peril, if they think that they're in danger for their life, they can eliminate the threat. Lawfully eliminate the threat. Yes, in a perfect world, he could have did something different. But you got the footage that's upholding the self-defense claims. You got the activity of this protester not actually peacefully protesting, but blocking traffic. If you're impeding on a federal officer's mission, objectives, now you put your life in their hands. Your life is no longer in your hands no more. Once you impede on somebody's mission that has a weapon that's lawfully there as a federal agent, you don't put your life in your hands no more. It's in their hands. Now it's up to them to judge. You have given them judgment over your life. Okay, so you have the option, right? For the future, to all the people that's these activists, you live in California, you live in New York, you've been brainwashed to vote for Mamdani. You think he's gonna help you. You've been brainwashed into believing Gavin Newsom for however many years he's been the governor. You've been brainwashed to believe in Karen Bass. You live in these nice places in California. All you see is the sun. You're taking 40% of your paycheck home every other week, but you see the sun. You near the water. There's homeless people outside, shitting outside, showing their meats. And you just completely lost in the sauce. And I'm going to be honest, there's no helping these people. You can't help somebody who has voted for Mamdani. The only way they can be helped is when they receive the consequences for helping them. When they see the consequences. And the consequences will show very soon. This is sad, man. This is sad. Very sad, bro. Let's go to Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo. I'm not gonna play this whole thing because this is a 14-minute video. News Nation. This is a News Nation thing that he posted on X. All right.
Like this should have nothing to do with politics. The early reckonings are all about politics. Not here. I'm not cherry picking a version. I know why people are angry, and I am not saying you are wrong. I understand why you are outraged. This should have never happened. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not stopping the tape. I'm not going to shield you. You have to see it. You cannot trust what is being said about this event. You have to watch it for yourself. You can't believe any of your influencers. You can't even believe the president, all right? Even his reckoning does not make sense, okay? I hate that I must say that, but I must. That is where we are. Here is the most complete version of the event that I have seen.
Alright. You saw some of that. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be even be showing this on YouTube. I don't even know. But you're not gonna see nothing crazy. You're not gonna see no blood. You're not gonna see none of that. You're just gonna see that. Chris Cuomo has very interesting point of view in this incident that occurred.
The only thing I wanted them to do, they didn't do, which is I don't need to hear someone yelling the whole time so that you can process the action. I now am going to slow down the video, and hopefully there's no sound in it. Here's the key. Determine what did they say, how did the driver react, and then how did the officers react to the reaction? 3 steps, right? So what initiates it? She's trying to leave. They tell her to stop and approach.
If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, if a cop stops you at your car, you stop, right? They get to your window. You're surrounded by 1, 2, 3 cops. Cop in front of you, 2 on the left side of you. One of them say, get out your vehicle. If you reverse your car and proceed to drive, you have given, you have put your life in their hands now. This is a fact. You have put your life in their hands now. It's no longer your decision whether you live or die. Now it's their decision, because they have only a few choices. Why is she backing up this vehicle? That's the question they probably asking. Why is she backing up this vehicle? Why is she not getting out the car? Why is she backing up this vehicle? Is she about to accelerate and try to run me over? That's a couple of questions that is in their head right now. I wouldn't even been on that road, on that street. But say in a alternate universe where I'm a blistering idiot. I've been brainwashed by a political party to stop federal agents from doing their job, and I'm just there. There won't be no reversing. There will be me putting the car in park, putting the handbrake up, stepping out of the vehicle. Live to fight another day. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Even though I would never be in this situation. Imagine you being a man. Your girl gets up in the morning. You had a great night. You went out. But there's rumblings of ICE being in your neighborhood. You get up. You had, you had a great time with your girl at dinner. You had a great time with your girl when y'all was doing that stuff. When y'all was, enjoying each other's time. She wakes up. You wake up in the morning. It's 8 a.m. She like, yo, I need you to watch the kids because I plan on going to this ICE raid and I want to block off traffic, stopping ICE from doing their job. And I just hate ICE. I just want to go out there and stop ICE. What you gonna do as a man? You gonna let her go out there? You gonna tell what you gonna say? Are you the man of the house? Let me ask you, man to man. Are you the man of the house, bro? In these blue states where they got all these protests, are you the man of the house? Are you gonna advise your girl to step out and obstruct a federal operation? Cause you supposed to be the logical one in the group. You supposed to be the man of the group. You supposed to be making the hard decisions. But in this society under Obama, the era of Obama, the one that he's created within his 8 years of being in office, the man has become effeminized to be under the woman's rule. They are scared to tell their girl no. They are scared to be the authoritative figure in the house, even though they bring in most of the money, even though they are the warriors of the house, the kings of the house, the man of the house, the one that's supposed to protect the woman and kids. They have made you effeminate. They have made you embrace your emotions. That's a woman trait. You supposed to get to it. You supposed to get to the bag. You supposed to make no excuses. You supposed to protect your woman from her stupid ideas because they're emotional. You're supposed to give her guidance, but they have taken that away from you, or you have agreed that that authority should be taken from you. You no longer make the decisions in your house. You no longer have the pants in your house. If she had a man in her life, she wouldn't even be on that street. She wouldn't even be there. Doing something like this wouldn't even exist in her brain. You understand? This wouldn't even exist in her brain. But you have agreed to the narrative that Obama and his administration and all the leftists have put in your head. The feminists, the what they say, decentralizers of men, they decentering men. You have believed their narrative, and you have become sheep to the shepherd.
She does not. What does she do? She backs up and then advances. Okay? Some people will call that peeling out. I do not think that is a reasonable assessment. You draw your own. Okay? Now, she backs up. She advances. There is an officer in front of her. The puff of smoke you see is the first discharge. Okay? Now I have another angle. Slowed down in front of the scene. Show the next one that we have.
Listen, I need y'all to zoom in on this part right here. You have to zoom in because I can't zoom in on this video. He's gonna show another angle. Right here where my pointer is showing, this guy is being touched by the vehicle. If you're a cop, you don't have clairvoyance, you don't have telepathy. You can't read this person's mind. All you can do is read their actions. You're already being shoved by the car. You're being shoved by the car. And then you step to the right as you start shooting. Because you think your life is in danger. And under the law, he is going to pass. He is not going to be jailed. So when you guys are out here being led by these politicians that want you to become a martyr so they could use you as a talking point for their political agenda, which she has become. She's no longer a mother of the kid she's with. She's no longer a partner of her girlfriend. She's a lesbian, by the way. She's no longer that. Now you have become a martyr for the Democrat Party because you believe their message. You have become, this is a tragedy that should have never happened, and this lady has martyred herself. Whether she was scared or she had the intention of running away or hitting the cop or whatever, she has now become martyred for a political agenda. You have become a martyr for Tim Walz. You have become a martyr for Jason Frey. You have become a martyr for Brandon Johnson. You have become a martyr for AOC. You have become a martyr for Kamala Harris. All for what? Now, this is all I'm going to say about this. You guys could look this up. Chris Cuomo basically says, matter of fact, we're gonna listen to Chris Cuomo a little bit more before I get out of here.
See? Rack it again, can you? Because it's already over. You see the officer right there in the front? And he moves to the side or is contacted by the car and it moves him to the side. So you see the vehicle back up, move forward. How does it move forward? You decide. Does she gun it or something else? Does she head at him or do you see the wheels turn? Okay, most importantly, would a reasonable officer believe there was an imminent risk, meaning this is going to happen right now, I think you got to check that box, of serious injury or death, and did the officer have no alternative but to use deadly force? That is justifiable use of deadly force as self-defense for a federal agent. Another angle, closer to the scene, shows that as officers were approaching, again, driver backs up. Why? Probably wants to leave. Advances. Okay? The officer is in front of the vehicle. He seems
okay, this is for the folks that's not listening to audio and they're on YouTube. Okay, I just need y'all to understand that. You're not going to see what I'm seeing unless you pull up the video, pull up this YouTube, pull up the video, and watch the video. This is meant for you to be seeing this. So if you're an audio listener, just pull up my YouTube and watch this at an hour or 58 minutes, wherever this video starts. This me pulling up Cuomo and what he said, Chris Cuomo.
Move out of the way or get moved out of the way by the vehicle. That's when the shots were fired. Now, what do you need to answer in this? Well, you have the turning wheels. Was her intent to run him over or get away? You can decide.
The left will use every position they can to ensure that the narrative stays on their side. The bridge was falling down when Nick Shirley came to Minnesota and found that fraud, and then all of the states were now under the light for the billions and billions of dollars of fraud. It's awfully convenient. It's awfully convenient that every country that's a blue, every state that's blue is now telling ICE to get the hell out. Is now telling ICE to get the hell out. It's very convenient that this is happening because the hammer was about to get pulled down on Minnesota first. Then they was gonna go to California. Then they was gonna go to New York. Then they was gonna go to Oregon. They was gonna go to all these sanctuary cities and find that fraud. The fraud that is definitely being kicked back to the politicians of that state so that could help them in their next election. This seems like a motive for me. This seems very easy. 1, 2, 3 for me. Oh, and by the way, this is the center of the day for me. You don't know about this. This is Carolina Herrera, Bad Boy Cobalt Elixir. You don't know about this. No, it's not Cobalt. It's just Bad Boy Elixir. This is my center of the day. Listen, man. The math is starting to add up. And it's not looking like algebra. It's not looking like calculus. It's looking like very simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, for my audience that's watching this, for my audience that's here and the growing audience for the future, how long are you going to let people think for you? How long are you going to let people say this guy's a bad guy, this guy's a good guy, and you believe him? How long are you going to be led by your emotions? How long are you going to be without autonomy? How long are you going to be puppeteered to be a martyr? You decide. This was another episode of Think Pieces in Conversation. I think this was episode 84. We almost at 100. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Don't be a sheep. And if you're going to find somebody to lead you, make sure they lead you to the way the grass is green. I'm out of here, man.